Hello, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. This is now the fourth and penultimate edition of our lockdown webinar series. If you've got any questions about this episode or previous episodes, please contact us at inquiries@sopherco.com. I'm Jade Sawyers, Marketing and Business Development Manager at Sopher & Co. For those of you who might not be aware, Sopher & Co are a chartered accountancy firm specialising in accountancy, audit and tax services. As a firm, we've recognised that there are a whole range of issues affecting our clients throughout this pandemic, not just from a financial aspect, but also business continuity and employee welfare. So that really has enabled this webinar series to be created. At Sopher & Co, we take our security and that of our clients extremely seriously, and we work with TDM Group to do this. But we also want to be able to pass on these tools to you so that you can minimise risks to your own business. So on that note, I'm delighted to welcome Tarek Melty, Director at TDM Group, who'll be providing some top tips and tools on recognising those cyber security threats. Over to you, Tarek.
Thank you very much, Jade. First of all, welcome to our cybersecurity webinar, and thank you very much for joining us. Definitely want to thank Sopher & Co and Jade for organizing this event in these crazy times. I realize most of you are here to learn new ways to protect your business, and some of you are just hiding from your kids. For me, I think I'm going through the opposite of Stockholm Syndrome. So let's start with our slides, Jay, if you don't mind. Okay, just for you to note, we have turned on the Q&A panel on the right of your screen. So feel free to ask questions throughout the event. I'll keep an eye on it and make sure I answer as I go along. As we are using Microsoft Teams to present this event, there is about a 15-second delay, so be aware of that when I'm answering your questions. So what we will be covering today is better ways to protect your business generally, and then looking at a specific attack, which is the phishing attack, which is emails being sent out and trying to compromise your business. And also at the end of the presentation, we'll be providing a security training video, which you can share with your business and colleagues. So we are still all adjusting to this new normal with a lot of changes. We have like new tools for working from home. Old processes that we used to work in the office are now broken. New processes introduced. New home work-life balance, which is very difficult to describe. For me, it's a lot of blurred lines. I've been trying to approve payments recently with my 2-year-old screaming and tugging, saying TV, TV, Paw Patrol, which doesn't make it easy to concentrate. All this creates an opportunity for cyber criminals. You can call it a perfect storm. So the kind of tools, for example, that people are using now when working from home is Microsoft Teams and Zoom. And so a lot of people don't know how to use these tools, finding it difficult to secure them. The uptake has been tremendous. For example, Zoom has had a 535% rise in daily traffic just in March. And with the focus of that, a lot of hackers are focusing on it. They identified a bug, for example, in Zoom that enables people to tap into the camera and the microphone. So cyber criminals are always looking for the weakest point to get into an environment, and as long as there's a break somewhere in the chain, they'll get in. And so we need to make sure that we constantly challenging and fixing all these risks and issues across the organization. So a lot of companies sometimes tell me, Tarek, we don't have anything of value. We're not necessarily on the radar for these criminals. But you know something, criminals don't really care where they get their opportunity. They'll take it wherever they can. If they can encrypt your data and make it inaccessible to you, and then they'll try to blackmail you to for money to give you the key to unlock those files and the data that you have. So literally anybody can be a target. So these lockdown measures and working from home brings new challenges to the IT departments. For example, historically, when people worked in the office, there are PCs in the office, we can patch it, we can update it, we can update the Wi-Fi, the firewalls, and so forth. Now everybody's working from different locations, and so it's a lot harder. For example, how secure is the Wi-Fi, the network-enabled devices? For example, you have TVs, network-enabled toasters, kettles, printers, Alexa, and so forth. Bandwidth issues, loving kids causing a distraction. You can whatever you can think of, it's there, challenging us from the home front. So now you might have thought that I mentioned kettles and toasters by accident. Actually, not really. A few years ago, there was a situation where there's a product called iKettle, which was you can connect it to your Wi-Fi, and so literally from the comfort of your bed, you can start the water to boil, or from your desk. By the time you get to the kettle, it's already warm. You can just pour your tea. But a side effect was the kettle had a bug in it, which allowed people to compromise it and get the Wi-Fi key, which will allow them to access the network. Add to that, Google at the same time was driving around the cities, capturing all the Wi-Fi hotspots, as well as, of course, taking pictures of the road for the Google Maps. And so what happened is they had you can go to Google Maps and find out all the iKettles where they are in the city, and actually drive to that location, and then compromise the kettle, get the Wi-Fi password, and get access to the network. So and so that's why it's quite important now, the fact you're working from home, to make sure all the devices you have in the home, like your kettles, your toasters, your TVs, your tablets, and so forth, are updated using the firmware updates from that company. I'm going to just quickly check for any questions so far. Bear with me 1 second. Oh, I guess nothing so far. So it's important to protect yourself and your business from cyber threats. So, for example, the kind of things you could do is training the staff to be able to identify potential security issues. Also, you can train them to be more what to look for in suspicious emails, covering webcams to make sure that their own devices are updated, personal ones. Other things you could do is the IT department, they can remotely manage and patch the PCs that are being used to access the corporate network. Even though they're sitting at homes, they can actually have agents running on those machines. That allows us to see if there's any vulnerabilities on there, update them, and even remote control into those PCs and help the users at home. So what could happen if a device is compromised? So this is an example. So this is a story on a subcontractor that was working with a main contractor in, I think, construction. So what happened was the subcontractor's environment was compromised. The hackers installed a piece of software on their machine that read all the emails, and the software looked for keywords, bank or invoice, and they intercepted every email that had the word in it. And more or less, then they identified the relationship between the main contractor and the subcontractor. And then they went to the main contractor, followed the proper procedures because they had access to the emails and they knew how to do that, to tell the main contractor that the bank details of the subcontractors changed. So when the subcontractor got paid, it was being paid to the wrong account. So after tens of thousands of pounds were lost, the subcontractor realized when they were chasing payments that the issue has occurred. And so these I wouldn't even want to think about the legal implications and who's responsible and why, and so forth. Even though the main contractor at the end was liable because they paid the wrong account, they didn't pay the subcontractor, I'm not sure that did a lot for the relationship. The picture on the PowerPoint is actually of the solicitor, I think, that was involved in the story. It wasn't the hacker. Just to make sure, in case anybody knows him. I don't want to cause any problems. Okay, now that some of you are working from home, also procedures and policies that could have been broken, you need to think about those things as well from a security angle. For example, how do invoices get approved? How are payments approved? How do teams collaborate on projects? How is sensitive data shared across the internet now? Before, you might be in the same office or in the same building. Now they have new challenges. So all these processes and procedures that you used to rely on before need to be thought about in a different way to make sure that they don't break and it doesn't create opportunities for attackers, and how they'll affect the current procedures. And the other thing when people are working from home is security from a communication perspective. So that you'd have to you'd be using things like VPN, which is a virtual private network, which is a tunnel between your home PC or device to the company network, and that allows it to be encrypted. Coupled with the MFA, which is a multi-factor authentication, which means when you log into your secure VPN, you get prompted for username and password and another form of security, which is a token on your phone, which allows you you have to type in a number that's constantly changing, that's on your phone. Otherwise, you won't be able to connect to the company network. So the idea behind it is you have your username, password, and this extra token that's constantly changing to log in. So even if somebody gets hold of your username and password, that won't be enough to get into the corporate network. As a recommendation, everything you guys access from your personal Gmail, from Hotmail, for Apple iTunes, whatever it is, you should use the MFA component. And any company that has an internet service without MFA, I would personally not use. I would consider it to be of a high risk, and something that's important that you should definitely secure. Okay, 1 second. Let's check again if I guess it's not that many questions. Either I'm very clear and everybody's understanding everything. Okay, all right. So I had a call from Boris. He said, Tarek, use this phrase, stay alert. I guess he needed some help getting the message across. So in regards from a security perspective, reinforcing security from home, working from home, everybody needs to stay alert for suspicious emails, be vigilant on what emails you're getting, what devices you're using, what information you're passing on through which application and so forth. Okay. What I'm going to do now is go through an example of a type of attack, which is the phishing attack, which is an email. For example, recently there's an email that's been going around that the government has pointed to, which is regarding getting. So this email directed you to a fake government website where they prompted you to enter your payment information. So using that, they were able to access your personal finances. So the idea behind it is these emails are constantly going out, and so the government website gov.uk, you can find the link of that on the Sopher & Co website. Will give you examples of what kind of emails are circulating that will try to compromise your business. So the kind of thing that you could do to protect yourself from malicious emails or fictitious emails that try to compromise your business is using a cloud-based email filter that will block these malicious emails as well as spam. Other things is, of course, the ongoing training of staff to identify and report malicious emails to the IT department. So the idea behind that would be, if a member of staff sees an email that they feel is suspicious, they should report that to the IT department, who will investigate and actually then put that into your email filter and block it from anybody else in your business getting it. So that is a crucial part of the formula. Also, one option as well is some companies have simulated phishing attacks, which they'll get an external company to simulate an attack by email into your company, and to see what staff members will open the email, will click on it, and actually put vital information in. And then once those people are identified, training can also be started, helping them better identify those emails. It's in a way of actually seeing how much of the training have staff taken on board. So it's very important. So the other thing is monitoring of the systems and the PCs and the servers for any malicious traffic going in and out, and all the network as well. So I'm going to just pop out of this for a second, just to show you an example of an email and what you can do about it. So when I get an email like this, I always hover over the from field to make sure that it is from the correct source, decathlon.co.uk. Okay. So that's one way of identifying emails. I look for the spelling to make sure it's spelled correctly. I make sure that, yes, I do have a relationship. I did buy an item from this company. Also, if you notice all the X's, the little red boxes with little red X's, those are pictures that want to download, and my Outlook client gives me a choice: do I want to download them or not? And this is important. So those pictures are actually somewhere on a website, and when they get downloaded, there's a code behind them. And when they get downloaded, more or less, it tells the marketing company that I've downloaded it online, and when I looked at it, when I opened the email. This can also be used by attackers to identify when I'm online and what I'm doing. So I would never normally download the pictures, because it gives information to people that wouldn't necessarily want to have that information. So only download the pictures on things that you need to download that's important to you. Otherwise, avoid it. If you feel the email is suspicious, you can send it to your IT department, and they will look at the properties of the email, and they will look at this called the email header here. I've copied this already. So I've taken that email header, and I put it here, and I marked it in red and green. So the green here is the bit that I saw in my email. So this can actually be spoofed and easily replaced by the attackers. If they were sending me an email pretending to be the HMRC, they can make that look like HMRC. But the bits in red is where every hop this email has went through, and this is very hard to spoof. So for example, it was received by the mail transfer agent from decathlon.co.uk. So that's the kind of things that the IT department would look at to ensure that it's actually from the proper source as well. So a lot of these things are actually automatically spotted and filtered and blocked by email filters. Things like Mimecast and Microsoft will do that automatically once you turn on the security options there. This is just protecting you from the phishing attacks. There's a lot more security measures as a company you can put in place, and it requires a lot more than just a 30-40 minute session. But I highly recommend that you keep an eye out for suspicious emails, training staff members, a whole complete security training program rather than just on the phishing. What we've done is made available a video, which I'll show you the link at the end, which actually gives you a more broader scope on things you can do for security, or what kind of, for example, around selecting passwords and MFA and so forth. The other thing you can do as a company is go down the Cyber Essentials path. This is a government-backed scheme that will help protect your organization against a whole range of common cyber attacks. So they have Cyber Essentials and Cyber Essentials Plus. The Cyber Essentials is a simple question and answer, and by just answering the questions honestly, and if there's gaps, you can putting those things in place, you'll be a lot more secure than you are now. And this Essentials Plus will take you to the next level after that. So the video I mentioned earlier, which we provide to all our clients, is the Essentials security training. You can find it on our website. If you go to www.tdmgroup.net security-training, and it's about a 5-minute video that you can share with your business and colleagues, and that will hopefully give good tips on how to stay secure while working from home. Okay, I'll just pass back to Jade, and hopefully if there's any questions, we can go through those now.
We've talked today about recognizing all the risks. for example, ahead of time, so what to look for on the email, but
Yep.
what actions should someone take after they've clicked on the email? Is obviously you can't backtrack that, but what's the quickest way of recording it and I guess putting measures in place going forward? How quickly should that happen?
Okay, so if somebody receives an email and they clicked and opened it and they realize that, or at that stage they believe it's suspicious, the best thing to do is close it and don't start any other programs and contact the IT department. Usually by just opening the email, that doesn't normally do, it's better to avoid it, but usually that wouldn't by itself cause an issue. Is actually once you opened a suspicious email and started clicking on links on that suspicious email, or you follow the advice it's giving you. For example, the HMRC one was the email was click on here, go to the government website and put in your information. So if people actually clicked on that, went to the website, put in their information, then they went 2-3 steps further than just opening the email. So normally, as soon as you feel something is suspicious, you should report it to the IT department. And the reason you report to the IT department, even though you didn't do anything with the email, is other colleagues in your organization could have received the same email, and so they might not have noticed it as fast as you did and gone further. So by notifying your IT department, what they should do is email the rest of the staff saying, by the way, be aware this email is being circulated. You should be careful. At the same time, they'll go to the email filter and block it from coming in again in the future as well. So when I mentioned earlier, when you should use cloud-based email filter, and the reason why I mentioned the word cloud is if it's based in the cloud, the likelihood that that system is learning from all the other incidents from all the other clients that are using the same system, so therefore the amount of attacks that will be blocked before even getting to you, it gets dramatically increased, because all of a sudden it's a trial and error. And if the system is being used by thousands and tens of thousands of companies, it will learn a lot faster than if you have a proprietary system installed in your premises. So going back to, as soon as you feel you've actually clicked and something you feel is happening on your computer and you compromised it, the best thing is actually to shut down your computer as well. If you feel something actually you clicked and the program is running, the malicious program is running on your computer, shut it down, unplug it from the network, call the IT department. Because then they can do is bring it back up and off the network and work on it that way. So that's the best advice I can give.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Well, thanks for your time today. Should you wish to get in touch with myself or Tarek, please come through to inquiries@sopherco.com. Great. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. Next week's episode is capital gains tax and property FAQs. So we look forward to seeing you then.